Hey all, welcome to my Mr. Rogers screencast slash JEA presentation on Podcasting 101. It's been fun updating it, and I hope to connect with you guys virtually in the Q&A, or feel free. I'll see if I can move that. My John Rogers at Twitter and Mr. Rogers _ journalism. Happy to DM me or put any questions out on the social media as well. All right, so let's just get to it. I hate long videos, so I'm going to try and keep this less than 15 minutes, and there'll be lots of time for questions or anything else when I do it. But, all right, so how I started podcasting, about 7 or 8 years ago. I hate to brag, but we did podcasting before everybody was doing podcasting, and I really failed to get my students motivated. So I started at work nights, doing some podcasting with my 4-year-old who's now 12. So math, that's 8 years ago. So we created the Toughest Question podcast, and hopefully Jack Rogers will be giving his prediction of an undefeated Hawkeye season here quickly again. And you can click on this if you're following along with the link. I will play a little bit of it.
My name is Jack, and on the broadcast, welcome to the Toughest Broadcast, and this is going to be the last one, folks, so this is what we're going to do. Dad, how did you like school? And I'm going to ask after you.
Okay, school was pretty good today. We had a lot.
All right, I'll stop there. It's fun. It was my 4-year-old. I think, them seeing us having fun, podcasting really got my students interested in doing it. And we showed them, which I'll show you later, some easy ways to get the podcasting done, which has changed over the last 8 years, but it's still pretty much the same thing. So then I kept and started podcasting there with my good friend Don Goebel at Keppa Camp. We made some summer camp podcasts. Matt Raz had the Jerdcast going for a while, and now I think Evelyn Lauer has one going, and Michael Simmons has a great one. I'll make sure to add those links in there to journalism podcasts that are happening. Then my students kind of jumped in on it. Jake and John there. John is now working for the Cincinnati Reds, doing social media marketing and other things. He also developed an app for high school sporting events, but did not work out. But now he's with the Cincinnati Reds, and they did a great job doing a Little Hawk Sports podcast. Some of the topics that they've been doing included news analysis, political talk shows, books, sports, history retold, poetry slams, music, all sorts of fun stuff. We even did some chats with our principal, trying to get a good relationship going, which we should probably work on rebuilding that and getting that even stronger, as we all need to do with our administration from time to time. And really having special guests and musicians is all about what makes the podcast super fun. Here's some of the logos they made. Sounds of the City's music, politics. We really tried to do names that were creative, Bringing Down the House for sports, The Weekly Spew for entertainment. Some of them even asked to get to go on youth radio shows. There's lots of times NPR Youth Radio will be looking for student podcasts about different things and topics that are trending, especially in the political season. Here's the link to the youth radio on high rents, keeping adults at home. And if you never checked out at youth radio, there's a lot of good resources there for you as well. And as they're getting inspired, before we get to some of the technical aspects of doing it, definitely check out your Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever else you might listen to your favorite This American Life or Malcolm Gladwell or The Moth, Grammar Girl, Serial, obviously. Mom and Dad Are Fighting, one of my favorite parenting podcasts for those parents out there. But even to just play the intro to start off some classes, to see how people start podcasts, the intro is definitely super important. why I keep teaching it and why I believe in it. Definitely student voice engagement. It's really trending. You can publish to an authentic audience and get it out there on all the mediums these days. The three kind of ones that I'd recommend recording on your phone, you have Anchor or GarageBand. And I have some videos coming up here on Anchor and GarageBand that I've made to help you guys do that. And if you're working on a computer, Adobe Audition, if you're in the Creative Cloud world, works great, and you can get a nice USB mic with that. I do recommend getting some mics, some plug-in mics for your iPhones or with adapters to get those going. That'll eliminate some of the background noise if you're having trouble finding a quiet place, which is usually the biggest problem with podcasting on the tech side. And Anchor has a YouTube channel, and then the Adobe Audition link there will take you to all their learning resources and everything if you want to go that road. A lot of students really like GarageBand as well, that you can easily create podcasts in any of those three methods on your phone or computer. Here's my video on how to do it on GarageBand. It is a little crooked here, I believe, so I'm going to get that fixed and updated for you guys, which isn't a big deal on your phone, but if you're on a computer, it is problematic. Just to give you a few tips as you go through, there is take off the metronome here when you get started. There's free music on there. It is a little more complicated to import your own royalty-free music, but it's pretty easy to do that, and I will let you watch that on your own time as you go through, and it also exports nicely to SoundCloud or a variety of platforms. All right, here, I will play this full Anchor video as it is the right orientation here for you.
Making a podcast just got a lot easier. Meet Anchor, the easiest way for anyone to make a high-quality podcast and distribute it everywhere audio is heard. No studio or fancy equipment needed. With Anchor, all you need to do to start podcasting is hold your phone up to your ear to record, either by yourself or with friends. You can also add music, background tracks, and voice messages from your listeners all right from your phone. Then publish it everywhere, including Apple Podcasts and Google Play Music with just one tap. That's it. You're all set up. It's really that easy. You can use Anchor on the go or from your desktop, and either way you get unlimited podcast hosting. All this combined means it just got ridiculously easy to make your own podcast, whether you're a beginner or a pro. And the best part is that Anchor's 100% free. Get the app now for iOS or Android, or visit anchor.fm to get started. We can't wait to hear your podcast.
Okay, like I said, yeah, most students don't really have a problem using the GarageBand app or Anchor. Adobe Audition does take a little bit more of a learning curve for sure, and you do really need a USB mic, but there's definitely more editing and tricks you can do on the Adobe Audition if you want to go to the more complex route there for sure. Okay, I found this great creating a podcast guide at, I believe it was at South by Southwest a few years ago. Let's see if I can get my screen adjusted here for you. And you should be able to copy and get that rolling here. For some reason, it is not letting me. Make that bigger. But I'll just scroll down. It'll be fine. This is a great little handout. You can start off with topics here, your audience, what your hook's going to be. A lot of times in the beginning, we just kind of winged it, to be honest, in the podcast. So this is a nice Google Doc, HyperDoc that you can give to your students and fill out to give them a little bit more direction, title, description, interviewers. Like I said, having someone to interview is really key to making your podcast interesting. And I know if you're trying to win those S&O badges on the S&O School Newspaper Online Podcasting, their interviews, intros, smooth editing are all part of creating that high quality podcast. There is a rubric here as well. as well as the great questions list to give your students even some more info here on how they can get better interviews, better interaction, better energy. I keep thinking back the Humans of New York, Brandon Stanton, and just having that positive energy and voice on your podcast is so important. All right, there's editing links on how to edit in different things, YouTube libraries, all of this stuff. And as things have evolved with Anchor and GarageBand, many of those things you don't even really need anymore with Anchor and GarageBand if you're doing it on your phone. But if students want to get into sound editing and do a little bit more of that, that's great. Listening to it after you're done, having them hear their voice, it's really important. They can also really tempo, how fast they're talking, how slow they're talking. And they'll just get so much better at it as they learn how to do more and more podcasts. The repetition is the key to success in this, as in so many other journalism assignments. And thanks to Rachel and Rachel and Carissa, who I got this doc from and adapted some of it. All right, let's head back over to the presentation here. My final tips here. I know this is a little shorter and sweeter than maybe some of the other JEA presentations, but I think having this short and giving us a little bit more time to talk after we watch this, and if you're watching a recording of this or not at the actual time of the conference, like I said, please feel free to reach out to me on social media if you have any podcasting questions. Use headphones and microphones. Really adds to the fun of it. You can get some multi-headphone adapters for phones or mics to get that all set up. You can create a podcasting area of your room. That can be really nice. Make sure students take some time to add some music, have an intro, practice, listen to other podcasts so that they can have a great intro and kind of system and setup, just like design styles. It's almost like podcasting styles for sure. Bring musicians in on Friday. That's what I'd love to get going again here in 2109, our journalism room. Having musicians jamming out and recording them and playing songs and talking to the singers and songwriters at your school and rappers is definitely a great way to add energy, not only to the podcast, but to your classroom. And I know so many students, if you just ask around, I'm sure you have a SoundCloud rapping musical artist trying to be the next new sensation off of the internet at your school. Use those outlines, create logos of your own. It's a great design experiment. And practice for them to create those. They will need probably a square one and a rectangle one. And those are my big tips. And I hope you guys make some podcasts and feel free to share them with me. And this has inspired me as well to encourage more of my Little Hawk journalists into making some more podcasts in this upcoming year. Thanks for tuning in.